Go.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So my name's Caitlin Thibault. I'm a first year Algonquin College student, which is located in Nepean. I'm fully bilingual with French and English. I have lots of experience with communication, customer service, interacting with the public, and understanding youth. I got most of these experiences through places I've worked and volunteered. I was a tourist guide, a pandemic support worker, a cashier, babysitter, and I volunteered as a hockey coach for kids between the age of 10 and 15. And I also work at Shelter Movers. Fuck, I didn't work.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a fully bilingual first year student at Algonquin College. I have lots of experiences with communication, customer service, interacting with the public, and understanding youth. I've worked as a tourist guide, a pandemic support worker, a cashier, babysitter, and I've done lots of volunteering as a hockey coach for kids between the age of 10 and 15. And I did some volunteer work for Shelter Movers here in Ottawa. From all these positions, I've learned COVID safety procedures, and I can learn any new protocols very easily. I have lots of knowledge about COVID, and I know it's still around, and some places still require masks, and I know all the mask safety procedures. I acquired many certificates and courses through just my own time or through my works. I have my worker health and safety awareness. I have my conflict resolution certificate and understanding stigma certificate.
What is your biggest strength and weakness?
So one of my biggest weaknesses is self-criticism. I tend to be very strict to myself, and I want everything to be done perfectly every time, which can become overwhelming, and I am aware of this. And I tend to stress myself out about this to make sure everything's perfect. And I can multitask too much. At times I start many projects at the same time, and as I might get them finished, it still takes longer to finish everything, and it's hard to keep track of different things are starting. Some of my strengths is my leadership skills. I've been playing hockey for the past 16 years of my life. Through these 16 years, I've been captain for 3 years in a row and assistant captain. I would often take on leadership roles in these teams as a motivational booster and just help them out with everyday things. I am very creative. I've taken art classes for about 7 years. I've done art with people from all ages, from seniors to children and toddlers even. I'm very creative. I tend to find different ways to solve different problems or if anything arises. And teamwork, as I've mentioned, I've been playing various sports, as in track, basketball, hockey, but I can work as a team very easily, and I understand different roles of different team members and how everyone's opinion is valued.
How have you handled a difficult situation with a customer?
So back then when I was working as a pandemic support worker, this was in a hospital, and my main role was to be a COVID screener. And during this time we had certain protocols, those mid-COVID times, and we had lots of regulations, and we were very strict at the hospital who can come in and who can visit and come to appointments. We were very strict at the time. So one visitor came in, he wanted to come see his wife. He did not have his double vaccines or was refusing to wear a mask, and our policy at the hospital was to visit non-palliative patients, so people who aren't at risk of death. They would have to have their double vaccination and wear a mask to be able to walk into the room and see the patient. We do sympathize, like me and my coworkers, for the people who can't come in, but it is our rules, it is our regulations. We have no power over this, and we just were the transmitters. We transmitted the message to the people. So he started to get upset, this man who wanted to come visit his wife, and we explained to him very nicely and calmly, because we knew there's often difficulties dealing with people who want to come visit and they're told no, because who wants to be told no to come visit someone you care about? And after he heard that we had a mask mandate and we required proof of double vaccination, he started to get very angry and aggressive. So at this time, we gave him the card of whoever was in charge of the vaccination policies and the visitors and all that. We gave him the card. We told him, I cannot take any of your complaints or anything. It would be best if you talk to this person, which was one of the HRs of the hospital. And they usually, the customer who gets angry, step out and they call this HR, and then the HR deals with them. But this man continued to get aggressive. He started to throw things that were on our little desk. And then at this point, myself and my coworker, we both stepped back and I went behind the desk and I told one of the administration ladies that one of the visitors for the patients were becoming aggressive, so they called security, and at this point I couldn't do anything else because security come and took the man away, and I was still a minor and I could not do anything to help the situation further. That was probably the most difficulty I've had with a customer.
What role do you play as a team member?
So I've played many roles in team members throughout the years. I love being a leader, but I would never force it. As I mentioned, I was hockey captain, so I have lots of leadership skills through sports and all that. I've always been the leader in group presentations because I was deemed most responsible and I can be counted on. I'm also a very good listener, and I like dividing roles between team members and seeing if there's any criticism and we can change it up. I like being in charge of things. I'm always willing to step back if I'm not the leader and just provide motivation for my team and do my part that's assigned to myself.
Tell me about a time that you had a conflict with a colleague or supervisor, and how did you handle it?
Well, personally, I've never had any big conflict with any colleagues or supervisors. Everything usually rolled pretty smoothly through all my jobs. The closest thing I've had to a conflict is maybe a disagreement on something, but me and my colleague would talk about it and would figure out and meet each other in the middle. If I did have a problem with my colleague or my coworker or someone in that sort, I would address the problem to them first, the colleague that I would have a conflict with. I'd address it to them, explain my concern, and then listen to their feedback. If we don't meet each other in the middle, we can't talk something through, I would probably go see my manager or I'd go see my manager first and then explain the conflict, and either the manager can step in and help out if it's a conflict that needs to be resolved immediately, if it's causing a distraction at work or taking someone's work ethic away or just impacting our team, which is the whole work as itself. Then I would go see the manager, and then if they can't do anything about it, then maybe go see the boss.